Hi everybody, how's your day going? Hopefully better than mine. Guys, I think the stress of the last couple of months had finally gotten to me and I'm losing my marbles. Late last night, somewhere between 11 and midnight, the dogs both jumped up and were barking at the kitchen door. So when they would not come back, I reluctantly got up to go and see what was bugging them. I did not bother to put on shoes or slippers. I just plodded out in my socks, only to step in a puddle of dog wee in the lounge. Okay? It's not the first time, and the bucket and mop, one of those fancy floor whiz things, was still standing there from earlier. Now let me mention that I already have two blood blisters because of the handle of the mop pinching me. But with one wet sock, the dog still barking at the door, I decided to first mop up the puddle before it runs off the tiles onto the wooden floor. What a noble undertaking, 12 o'clock at night, except at the second swipe, the darn handle pinched my finger, and so hard that I at first could not get it off. But oh boy, when I did, friends, I smashed that spinner floor whiz mop so that neither his mom or dad or little brothers and sisters would ever recognize it for what it was ever again. I honestly and truthfully cannot remember the last time I had such a meltdown. Likely when I was about 3, I think. In my younger days, I was a door slammer when I was really angry, and that was maybe an annual thing and not a monthly or weekly thing. But throwing things and breaking things, never, 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 never. Not my scene, because I usually had to pay to replace broken things, just like I had to do today. And that is a story in itself. But let's leave that for another day. I just managed to calm myself down, so let's leave it right there. Now, goodness, what on earth is going on in the Meghan and Harry saga? First, we have to turn over every rock for something to talk about after the Nigeria trip. And now the inboxes are bursting at the seams. I mean, what the heck? First, I read that Harry wants Meghan to re-enter the film industry as, according to Harry, Meghan is not living up to her potential and wonderful talent. And he is apparently using every contact he has to get her an offer in a film or a TV series. But also, allegedly, Meghan is not so pleased. Allegedly, she feels she has outgrown the movie industry, outgrown the actress stage, and she would rather be a successful businesswoman and politician, and one day the President of the United States. Now, allegedly, Harry had said that he would support her in those ventures as well. But in the meantime, she could use her God-given talent for acting as well. Allegedly, Harry is of the opinion that Meghan is the world's greatest actress and that she just did not get the opportunities to showcase it yet. Well, I don't know about her playing anything on film because everything I have seen so far had been pretty shitty and others so vague or so bad that you have to watch the movie twice to actually notice her. But I guess she has been playing herself very well over the last 6 years. pity she failed at playing the Duchess role after only 72 weeks, I think it was, and her Duchess performance left behind a mighty stink to boot. Now, in direct contrast with Harry cosplaying Meghan's agent, there are the continuous stories about an impending divorce. Look, I was indeed knee-deep into every possible divorce story, but although I still think that the marriage will end at some point, and one way or the other, either via an untimely death or divorce. I'm no longer holding my breath and trying to investigate and collaborate every possible divorce story. And the reason for this is that I think Harry and Meghan are codependent at this stage. I honestly do not pay much attention to what others are saying. I have had one form of addiction or another around me for most of my adult life, and I think I recognize it when I see it. And Harry may have experimented with drugs and alcohol as a kid, but now, in my opinion, he is a full-blown addict. Him and Doria smoking lots of weed is indeed not news. It is a fact. Using magic mushrooms and ayahuasca or whatever it's called is not news. It is a fact. Using Coke, not the Coca-Cola kind, is not news. It is a fact. And why is it a fact? Because Harry said so repeatedly, and I can see it in his eyes, in his face, sometimes even in his body language, and very often in his stance. It is also clear that there is some disturbance in his brain function, and it is my absolutely non-medical guess that it is caused by these substances used along with sporadic drinking binges. Now we know Harry had his moments of drunken behavior in the past, but we also know that a full-blown, out-of-control drug addiction cannot be afforded, allowed, or tolerated in service of the monarchy. Not at all, and in no, absolutely no way. So while Harry is still using, unless or until he has been through a lengthy process of kicking the habit, he cannot be allowed back, not even in the role of a chimney sweep. So Harry, with all his bravado and fake ego, who thinks he can even command Hollywood to give wifey a role, has absolutely nowhere to go. Or rather, I guess he has many places to go to, but he has no one to go to. No one waiting for him, no one to help or take care of him, and most of all, no one to supply him with the ABC of whatever he is currently using. But we will get back to this much, much later, maybe in another video. I thus think Harry is dependent on Meghan and Doria, with Doria likely, maybe, allegedly, his supplier or the liaison to his supplier. I don't know that for sure, but it is no secret and already in the public domain that Doria Ragland was a prolific marijuana user and likely other stuff too. But yes, long story short, I think it is Harry's dependency on substances which makes him dependent on Doria and Meghan Ragland. Some people try to make us believe that due to his childhood, his parents divorcing and his mom dying, Harry will stick around for the children. But I do not agree, and I do not think so. I think Harry is arrogant enough to think that no matter what the case, he will always win because he is the son of a king. And of course, back in England, there are some ancient laws he can call on to ensure he gets to see his children. So honestly, I totally agree on that score. Besides, we never really see Harry's interactions with his alleged children, so we can't even say that he's all that bothered about them. Anyway, again, I think it is his addictions making him dependent. That, and the fact that he had by now ticked off all his friends and family, and no one is particularly keen on having him around anymore. When it comes to Meghan, she was never a great actress. And if you don't believe me, go Google some of her roles and see for yourself. She was always the bimbo or the love interest. Basically, she played herself 99% of the time and then did not even do that well all the time. Meghan was never a supermodel like she claimed. She did a stint for Reitmans, and I know what that is like. I did something similar with a handful of other people in my young days for, I think, if I remember correctly, OK Bazaars. Hey, I mean, they choose you because you look like a mommy, or you look like a secretary, or you look like a slut in Meghan's case. Then they dress you. You have a walkthrough, you play a little role with or without words, and they take a short clip and a few stills, and that is it. Usually they request models or actors from the area, and only once in about 5 to 10 years did I get to fly to Cape Town and stay in a hotel. But the point is that a Reitman's contract or a stint as the in-house model or whatever Meghan Markle wants to call it does not require a supermodel, not even close. Name me one thing Meghan Markle was really, and I mean really, successful at. I mean, she could not even catch herself a prince or a duke with brains, business acumen, strong personality, or looks. No, the best she could do was the spare, and really the spare's spare, because currently William is the spare for his father, and Harry is only the spare for William's 3 children. What a prize, hey, Meghan? Anyway, Meghan has no brand. She nearly had one in the TIG, but she gave that up, remember? As things stand now, the name Meghan Markle is disliked far more than it is liked. Say the name's Meghan Markle and it is almost synonymous with lying and grifting, and even the Urban Dictionary says so. Today, being markled means you had some bad karma and failed at something, or you are being ghosted. There is absolutely nothing positive, no positive connotation to Meghan Markle's name these days. So all she has left is her second-hand title. Yes, it is a second-hand title because she only has it because Harry is the Duke of Sussex. She has no title in her own right. Unless, of course, you take into account her Nigerian titles. And I'm afraid Adetukumbu Meghan Markle just does not have the same ring to it as the Duchess of Sussex. Now, does it? I guess particularly because we are only too aware that even that Nigerian title is based on a lie, a short-term role she played, a quick quip she pulled out of a hat to one-up her guest on her podcast, which has now snowballed into this. I think the next interview with Harry, the interviewer should ask him when his wife took the DNA test and with which company. I'm willing to bet Harry has no clue whatsoever, because I'm also willing to bet it has not happened. Anyway, I digress once again. Meghan has nothing. Zilch, nada. Her CV looks like shit. Her talent is barely existent. She is now well into her 40s. And, more than anything else, her eyes are dead. Meghan, without her Duchess title, will wither away, wilt and die. And that is why she is clinging to Harry like a leech, sucking every bit of life out of him. She cannot let go. She can't afford to. I think she thought that once back in the United States with her newfound fame, like Jackie Kennedy, she will bait herself an Aristotle Onassis. But it did not happen. Not for a lack of trying, remember, but because Meghan Markle just does not have that elusive it factor, that sparkle, and since she married Harry, she has the sex appeal of a piece of wood, a real plank. No, so sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but I think that unless Harry loses every every title he has, Meghan will hate him, hurt him, love bomb him, while Doria mixes her potions in the background, and together the Meghan, Marcus, Doria crew will keep him right there until maybe one day something better comes along. And with better, I only mean richer, more money, honey, and then they will discard Harry like a filthy old rag in the nearest gutter or skip. Okay, guys, so that is my wonderful, glorious, happy news that I am sharing for the day. And I'm only joking, okay? So I'm off. Please, my dear friends, take good care of yourselves and each other until we meet again right back here. Bye.